Right, let's talk about the French Grand Prix, because it returns, of course, after a long period of absence this weekend, and I am really looking forward to it. It is a great track. Paul Ricard is a fantastic racetrack. Lots of the teams know it reasonably well because they've tested there in recent times. It has great facilities. It's been completely rebuilt, or certainly revamped. The circuit itself has been resurfaced, and we'll get into what that means in a moment. But it is a great facility, and it should be a pretty good place to hold a Grand Prix. There are a couple of caveats to that. So let's look at first what it means going to a relatively new track for the Formula One teams. This is not a place that they have got lots of historical data. Like most tracks we go to, they've got last year's data, the year before that. They know what happened in previous races. They know what challenges previous races throw up. This is a new circuit to them, most of them, certainly in a competitive sense. And in that respect, they have to approach it slightly differently. So they've got to create a sort of accurate track map or a 3D model for all the simulations that they do. Some teams will do that by using the engineering drawings of the racetrack in its current format. Others will send a team there which will scan the racetrack using quite sophisticated laser equipment that will scan the surface of the track, so to get every little lump and bump in it. They'll scan the surrounding areas so that they can match in the buildings that are nearby, the trees, the stands, all the surrounding imagery, so that when they're putting the driver in the loop simulator together back at the factory, the one the driver sits in, drives laps around and feeds back to the engineers, the driver has all of the detail that he'll see when he actually gets to the actual circuit. So they'll try and build as an accurate as a model as they can, using whatever data they can get to assemble that. From that data in the simulator, of course, they'll spend hours running simulations both with and without the driver. So the engineers will run simulations sweeping through different setups, different rear wing setups, different front wing setups, trying to affect some kind of balance, trying to work out what the optimum baseline setup will be for this racetrack. Because the circuit's changed over the years, and because the track surface has changed, and because we've never raced it there in its current format, you have to approach it in a very different way. So setup is very much based in the beginning on simulation. When we get to the racetrack, of course, Friday running, the Friday practice sessions will be absolutely crucial. So just to get the driver out on the track, get him into a groove, get his feedback on whether the simulations that they've run before arriving at the track have been accurate or not. Does it correlate with each other? What they'll do is they'll run through Friday, trying different types of setup, maybe altering wing levels, collecting data with all the onboard sensors, and then on Friday night after the practice sessions they'll run all of those simulations again back at the factory with the updated data that they've collected from the day. So that way they can sort of work out whether they were accurate in the beginning, whether they need to tweak things, and from what they've gained from their own car and the data from all of the other cars that have been running around the track that they've been observing, where do they think they look for the weekend? What looks like the optimum race strategy, qualifying strategy? So lots of work, lots of simulation and data collection to be done heading into a new track. Let's look at the track though, because the track is quite interesting. As I said, it has changed quite a bit over the years. There used to be a kind of mile-long straight, the Mistral Straight, and over recent times they've put in a little chicane, so turns 8 and 9 have become a chicane halfway down that straight. Now what that means actually is that the two halves of that straight now are not actually that long in terms of the Formula One calendar. So whereas it would have initially been an ultra low downforce circuit to maximise that long straight, now that's been split into two average length straights. The ultra low downforce no longer becomes the priority here, and actually we've got some very fast corners. Turn 10 at the end of that second part of the straight. Turn 10 is a flat out, I'm pretty sure it's going to be flat out corner, really long sweeping right-hander where speeds are going to be incredible through there, and you're going to need a car that has really good high speed stability and high-speed aero balance to keep the car flat through that long turn 10 and into an even, or equally, even longer, in fact, sweeping right-hander of turn 11. So 10, 11, very, very fast, high-speed section, but constant cornering. Even you come out of 11, you're into 12. Very quickly, one corner leads directly into another on quite a few sections of this racetrack. So finding an aero balance that works for you, that doesn't compromise you on the straight, but gives you the high-speed stability you need, is absolutely crucial here. Now, the other thing is that this is a circuit that has been completely resurfaced very recently, as I said. Now, what that brings is two things. It brings a brand new, fresh tarmac, of course, normally very dark in colour. And what that does is that it absorbs the heat from the sun much more efficiently than this sort of older, greyer tarmac we see at some other circuits. So if ambient temperatures are high, if the sun's out for long periods, which it's highly likely to be here, track surface temperature can get very high. And we know that that can really start to affect thermal degradation when it comes to tyre wear. But the other thing is, though, generally tyre wear will be pretty low. With a new surface like this, it tends to be fairly high grip, but low abrasion. Very few bumps, a very low level of abrasiveness on the surface itself. So tyre wear generally shouldn't be too much of an issue. Now the worry there, if the tyre wear is very low, the worry, I guess, is that we could end up here with another one-stop race. If Friday running proves that tyre wear is low and thermal degradation doesn't become too much of an issue, it's highly likely we could see teams running a one-stop strategy come race day, which, as we know, is perhaps not the best way to kind of get the best out of Grand Prix racing. Love to see 2-3 stops being put into the mix every week, but look, let's see what happens. Let's not judge it too quickly before we've actually been there. 2 DRS zones, opportunities for overtaking 100% around here. It's a purpose-built circuit, this. There's a number of configurations that this circuit can run in, and teams have used lots of different configurations over testing, which is why this is almost viewed as a brand new circuit for most teams, because the configuration of this particular Grand Prix circuit that we'll be running on this weekend is new to most people. 2 DRS zones, as I said, overtaking opportunities definitely into turn 1 at the end of the start-finish straight, probably into turn 8 as well, that little kink halfway down the long straight. Possibly into turns 3 as well. Until we see it for real, it depends on the speeds going into those and how wide the circuit is, which I can't really tell from the track map that I've got in front of me. But a promising circuit, a promising layout, and something that is going to throw up a number of challenges for the teams. The other thing to note here, because it's brand new resurfaced racetrack, Pirelli, as they did in Barcelona, are bringing those thinner treaded tyres, so tyres that have 0.4 of a millimetre less tread depth on them, which doesn't sound like very much, but it saves about 1 kilo in the overall weight of a set of tyres. Of course, that's the same for everybody, but we know what happened in Barcelona. Whether it was ultimately tyre specific or not, Mercedes absolutely dominated that race. There are a number of similarities to the Barcelona track and this one with the high-speed corners, and also with that resurfaced tarmac and those thinner treaded tyres. Could we see this being a circuit that brings Mercedes straight back into play and perhaps gives Ferrari, certainly Red Bull, a slightly tougher challenge? We'll have to wait and see, but I think we're set up for a really, really good one. I'm really looking forward to it. As I said, I can see this being a Mercedes track, but I can see also some of the strengths of Ferrari's car. Take away the tyre element, because we'll wait and see how that plays out, but the strengths of Ferrari's car should well play into this circuit as well. So it could well be close unless we see a real domination from Mercedes because of this kind of tyre obscurity. Same tyres that we'll also see at Silverstone, by the way. Right, I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to be looking forward to it. I'm not going to this one. I'm not back on site until after the summer break now. Got a good stint at home. I am missing being at the racetrack, but I just can't wait to get back after August. But I'll be watching it avidly on TV with you guys. So stay in touch through all the normal channels. Please leave comments on this video. Don't forget to like, share it around, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you very much. See you next time.